Welcome back to the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Hard to believe, but harvest season is just around the corner. As soon as all those wheels begin to turn on the farm, it causes more chances for risks around the farm for injury or other instances that could be far more severe. We want to prevent those, and so we're talking with Roger Hoback today. He is Industrial Safety Consultant Specialist with the Division of Safety and Hygiene for the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Roger, first time on the podcast. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ty. It's great to be here, and thank you for having BWC be a part of your initiative here to keep Ohio farmers safe. I'm
You know,
happy to be here today.
as I drive around the countryside, I'm starting to see those crops turn a little bit, and we're going to feel that chill in the air, and harvest season will be right here in the Buckeye State. As we talk about harvest safety, what types of BWC claims do you typically see?
Sure. So we typically break claims down into three different categories based on our specialties. We have safety type injuries, ergonomic injuries, and then we have industrial hygiene related injuries or illnesses. On the safety side of the house, safety injuries, we see animal and insect bites. Uh, we see caught in or pressed in machinery or equipment. We also see quite a few falls as well, falls from equipment, falls from jumping from equipment, falls from elevations. And then we also see motor vehicle accidents, whether it's on the roadway or off the roadway. We still see accidents involving machinery and equipment running. On the ergonomic side, we do see overexertion type injuries where we're dealing with strenuous pulls and lifts. Industrial hygiene, that's the environmental factors, and what we see is exposure to things such as the acids and the agrochemicals that can be harmful to the body. And we also see exposure to temperature extremes too, so things like heat stress and even the cold factors as well. So that's kind of a summary of what we see in this sector.
Well, as I mentioned, as we get into more work on the farm, we're going to have more opportunities to, not just see these types of claims, but prevent them. That's why you and I are talking today. So, with harvest season right around the corner, any specific recommendations you have for workers on the farm?
Yes, I do have a list of some recommendations I would like to share, starting with first with moving vehicles on the roadway, making sure that warning lights, alarms, anything that's going to identify them to prevent accidents is working properly. Number two is inspecting the equipment before work begins, ensuring that equipment is safe to go. So doing that walk around, doing that inspection of that piece of equipment before taking off. Number three, when using the combines, making sure that any debris in there is clear to prevent fires from happening, since that is a risk, making sure those are clear. And then also referencing to that, when clearing these debris and jams, ensure to use tools and not just your hands. Unfortunately, sometimes there is stored energy within that equipment. And even though we may have the machine shut off, the stored energy is still possibly present. So try and use tools, keep hands clear. Um, Also, and speaking of keeping hands clear as well, the PTOs are also a major concern. Ensuring that guards are over PTOs, ensuring that if you're going to do work around the PTO or on it, of course, ensure that it's shut off. Um, Keep loose clothing away from it. What else do we have here? And then when working around the equipment as well, just ensuring the situational awareness, looking out for others. So you may have other workers in that near area. So keeping a good mindful watch of who's around, making sure they're clear. Um, and then ensuring the equipment has proper lighting, because we know that sometimes some days may get into overnight work or after hours where we're working way past when the sun goes down. So ensuring you have good lighting. Dust and vapors are also a concern, so ensuring that we look out for that and consider wearing dust mask or respiratory protection when needed, possibly more into the silo or it could be even out in the field style setting as well. Taking breaks is another thing that's important. So ensuring that you get ample rest, stay hydrated. Uh, we, of course, are unsure what the weather will be like in harvest season, but staying hydrated year round is important. And then lastly, with the pesticides and agrochemicals, ensuring that they're labeled and stored appropriately to ensure there's not an accidental leak or contact to skin or release of it. So those are some recommendations as far as in general for harvest season. I hope those are helpful to those out there.
Here in a couple of weeks, we have Farm Science Review. And over the past several years, I've made it one of my stops to stop by the Bureau of Workers' Compensation and visit with you folks. Are you involved with Farm Science again this year?
Yes, the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation is happy to be a part of that again this year, September 17th through the 19th, there in London, Ohio. Uh, we will be have a booth there this year at the Farm Bureau building at the corner of Beef Street and Friday Avenue, and we'll be happy to answer questions and talk to those there. And we hope to see a lot of participants there. We're happy to engage with the Ohio farmers and industries in the state. So we are pleased and happy to be there, and I will be there as well one day. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good deal. Maybe you and I can actually meet in person at Farm Science Review in the middle of September. If an Ohio ag
Yes.
employer, if they can't make it to the booth and see you guys in person, or maybe they're listening now and they need some help now, how can Ohio BWC assist them?
Well, there's a few different ways. Of course, I didn't really talk about introduction wise. I'm a safety consultant, so there's safety consultants across the state. There's ergonomists, and then there's industrial hygienists. And we are there to perform confidential and free consultations. Those can be safety walkthroughs, safety assessments, ergonomic evaluations, air and noise sampling. We can look at training programs. Then we can also kind of break down what are the risks that your employees face and how can we reduce that risk or possibly eliminate it. And of course, if you're not established with a consultant that you've worked with previously, you can schedule a consultation by going to bwc.ohio.gov or by calling 1-800-644-6292. And we'd be happy to, whoever that consultant is, work with you.
Roger Hoback is Industrial Safety Consultant Specialist with the Division of Safety and Hygiene for the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Roger, great information. Before we let you go, any final thoughts as we get prepped for harvest season?
Yes, thank you. And again, thank you for having me here. We are very thankful and appreciative for our Ohio farmers. BWC will always be here for those. We hope that this year's harvest season is safe and productive. And then lastly, just stay safe out there.
Who feeds your need for new ideas for your family's best farm future? Ohio Farm Bureau. We work with our members to shape ag policy that will positively impact our industry. Farm Bureau is advancing business solutions to give you a competitive advantage. We help you gather information to stay ahead of important topics and technologies. Plus, Ohio Farm Bureau creates opportunities for growth. Ohio Farm Bureau, feeding your need for new ideas.
Find out how Nationwide Agribusiness can help you grow your business. Get to know the people with the experience and knowledge to help you. Whether you are looking to protect your farm or ranch from the ground up, or need someone who understands your changing commercial ag needs. Find out how to better manage the risks of your ag business, or how quickly you can get back to business. Learn how you can protect your next with Nationwide on your side.
Welcome back to the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. A great project that was first announced back in fall of 2022 is the Ag Tech Innovation Hub. It was established by Nationwide along with Ohio State's College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences with support from the Ohio Farm Bureau. As I mentioned, it's been a little time since it was announced, and some big things are happening at that hub. We want to talk more about it with Bethany Rolls. She's Senior Consultant of Business Program Management with Nationwide and the Innovation Director of the Ag Tech Innovation Hub. Bethany, great to see you. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
So what is this Ag Tech Innovation Hub?
Yeah, obviously Nationwide, the Ohio Farm Bureau, and Ohio State's College of Food, Ag, and Environmental Sciences have a really long-standing partnership, have worked together for a very long time, and really have a focus on, meeting the ever-changing needs of their stakeholders. And one of the things that's really cool about our organizations is they have a lot in common. We're passionate about innovation. We're passionate about, helping to serve a new generation of farm leaders. And this is really something that we are now putting into action through the launch of the AgTech Innovation Hub. And the hub itself is actually an incubator for groundbreaking research. And it's really aimed at future-proofing agriculture by encouraging the development of new solutions. And it's to help the agricultural ecosystem while also helping us to better understand, manage, and mitigate climate risk. It's really a collaborative effort that brings together the expertise of all three members of the hub.
There are so many challenges in agriculture, but when you look at what's happening, especially in South Central and Southeast Ohio right now, we're seeing a drought, and we're seeing even in years past shorter windows of opportunity for planting and harvest, and as you mentioned, a lot of challenges to mitigate through the research that you're doing there at the AgTech Innovation Hub. What are some of the completed projects you can share with us that have happened since its inception?
Yeah, so you mentioned what's happening in Central and Southeast Ohio with drought. There's actually a project that we looked at that's related to that. So when we first launched the hub, we had 5 projects initially that were started back in 2023. All 5 of those projects have just recently finished. And so in addition to the one that's looking at drought risk and water management, we also had one that was looking at precision management. We had some that were looking at pathogen prevention, climate risk mapping. We even had one that was looking at the impact that farmers are seeing from early planting and cold weather planting.
Of course, we're going to hear a lot about research when we happen to be at Farm Science Review together later on in September. Many of our partners, Ohio Farm Bureau partners, are going to be there talking about how they work with our organization and how they can help our members do better things and more things on the farm, be more productive. And that risk management, of course, is a big part of what we talk about at Farm Science Review. You'll be there with us at the corner of Beef and Friday, all 3 days, talking about the AgTech Innovation Hub. What are some of the things you hope to accomplish while you're there with Ohio Farm Bureau at Farm Science Review?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely an opportunity for us to talk to everybody who's coming through. So whether that be ag professionals or students or others who are just interested in the industry, it's really an opportunity for us to share out some of the things that nationwide Ohio State and Ohio Farm Bureau are doing through the hub. We can talk about the projects and the outcomes of what we have seen and the ones that I just described to you, but also we have a new batch of projects that we're getting ready to start that is also going to look at things like, weather readiness on farms and looking at climate smart ag and other things that can help us. You think about the fact that Nationwide is a protection company. And, innovation is really one of the things that drives our mission, and it helps us to think about how we can deliver solutions that are meaningful to protect our customers and members. And, we're seeing so many things that are evolving. And as the #1 insurer of farm and ranches in the United States, it's really one of those things that we find important to invest in ag innovation to make sure that we're able to continue protecting them in the ways that they need and really make sure that the industry is secure and strong. So I'm really excited to just share how we are doing that, how we're collaborating with Ohio State and Ohio Farm Bureau. And one thing that's actually really exciting about Farm Science Review this year is that because we are focused on promoting the AgTech Innovation Hub, we're going to have a couple of the researchers with us. So I am really excited to have some of them join. So Dr. Steve Lyon and Dr. Vinayak Shedeker both are from CFAES. And we have Scott Lucan, who is the president of AgriDrain Corporation. They're going to be around on Tuesday, the 17th from 10:30 to 12:30. And they're not only going to be there to discuss their project, which is called Drought Risk Reduction through Automated Drainage Water Management, but they're also going to have some of the technology there and be doing live demonstrations. So it's going to be really cool. I hope people can stop by during that time and have a chance to talk with them more about it. We're even going to have a couple of other researchers from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. also on Tuesday. So Dr. Sammy Canal and Luke Waltz, who is a PhD student and candidate with CFAES, are going to be there talking about artificial intelligence for farming. And the project is called harvesting insights from data and drones. They have a lot of work that they've done, and this is a project that we see continuing for probably at least a couple more years. So it'll be really great to hear not only what they've done, but what they have planned. And, in addition to that, we will have the other projects there as well. We'll be able to talk to you about all of the other ones that we had come out of the hub this first year. So really looking forward to it.
Need to add this to your list of things to do at Farm Science Review. You got free popcorn, you got to kick some tires, some field days, and then stop by the corner of Beef and Friday to see us at Farm Science Review, Ohio Farm Bureau's barn there with our friends from Nationwide talking about the Ag Innovation Hub. Bethany Rolls, Senior Consultant of Business Program Management with Nationwide and Innovation Director at the Ag Tech Innovation Hub. For those that want to find out more, Bethany, online before they come to Farm Science Review, how can they do that best?
Yeah, so you can find out more about the hub at news.nationwide.com/OSU hub.
Bethany, thank you so much.
Thank you.